What is up, guys? My name is Ron and welcome back to yet another video. Today on the menu we're going to be looking at the Munbyn ITPO5 stencil printer. And this is an Amazon printer. The company Munbyn reached out to me via email and asked me if I'd like to review it. I said sure, we'll add it to the stack of stencil printers. This has a 2600 milliamp battery, so pretty big battery. Might be the biggest one I have so far in the printers. It has a 203 DPI ultra high thermal conductor print head. So we're going to be looking at that. I'm going to unbox it. We're going to test it. Also, let me add this real quick. So down below, if you're interested, there's a link to the Amazon store page for this thing. It retails at around $79. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to there. But there's also down in the description, there's going to be a coupon code that will take this from $79 to $67. But here's the kicker. It's only good till December 15th. So you only got so many days before you can save like a 10 or 12 bucks on this printer here. So if you're interested, that's down below. With that all being said, let's get right into the unboxing and the testing. Alright, you guys, the Munbyn Tattoo Stencil Printer. So big thanks to Munbyn for reaching out and sending this my way. I figured we might as well add this to the stencil collection. So this does come with a nice Mac adapter for your USB, because now most Mac products use a Type-C now. I do have this sped up, so that way we can just kind of quickly brush through all the stuff in the box. And then once we get to testing, it'll be in regular speed. So has a nice information card here. This kind of tells you how to use it through your has good information on how to use it through your PC and or Mac. Of course, you can use it with your Android or iOS. I did use this with my iPad, as most people do. I will just stencil and then transfer it straight to the app. This is also, I'm using my brand new camera here. I got a Sony ZV-1F camera for Christmas from my beautiful wife, and yeah, so we're going to be using that. I still have kind of a janky setup going on here, guys, so you're going to see some shaking. Today we're going to be using the Munbyn paper that they provided with the printer for all of our tests. Here I'm just giving you guys, of course, a nice little close-up so you can get a close-up shot of the Munbyn printer. I am showing off the nice autofocus that is on this camera as well. Super nice not having to use my phone and take up all that phone storage on my phone anymore. I can just use my camera to make all my videos now. Okie doke. Up next, we're going to be looking at the app. Now that is the app right there. It's called the Luck Jingle. Kind of odd. There is an update here, so I'm going to cut through this update of the new version for the software or firmware or whatever you want to call it. I did notice that this app has really low ratings, and we're going to get into that soon. As far as the printer goes, you're going to see it does quite adequate with lines. I'm going to throw some shading at it to test the DPI. It does struggle with that, but it does do nice crispy lines, and unfortunately it's just another decent printer that's held back with a mediocre application. So I'm sure we've seen this before, guys, with our with many stencil printers that I've received. It's just really held back by a kind of a lousy application. Now up here I'm showing off it only does millimeters, and for some reason the millimeters aren't changing when I do the size. Later on it does. That little button I pressed right there helps lock in the angles, the height and the width. That way when you size it, it all changes sizes and not just the height and or the width. And it does have your basic settings that most of these apps do have. You can put the filter through it, etc, etc. You are able to add multiple images to one page. I would like to see a crop option. That way we can crop out all that white, and that way we can get those images as close together as possible. Now, there's no method to my madness here, guys. I'm just blowing up this line drawing to throw it through the printer so we can see how well it does with the solid lines, and we're going to see that here in a second. Like I said, I'm using the paper that they provided. Now I do have to rip the back sheet off. That's pretty standard these days for these printers, and I am going to speed up through this part. Later on I'll put it on slow-mo and let you listen to how actually how quiet this thing is. So you're going to notice here I hit the feed button. I believe I hit it twice. The first time I didn't get a response, so I may have hit it once and then hit it twice, and then it responded to both clicks, and then that's why it fed so much. So another thing as well, I would like to have a more responsive feed button, so that way we can avoid mistakes like that. That way I don't have to pull it out, run it back through again. No, I'm not sure what density I'm printing on right now. To get into the density, you have to hit the settings button in the bottom corner there, and that pulls up the density and stuff like that. So another thing as well is the density should be up there, right there next to the print button. That way you can print your density, hit print, and get it going. Not have to go into another file or hit another button to pull up another list. It's just inconvenient. So what you're going to see here, this probably has somewhat to do with the density as well. In the busier spots that go straight, left to right, you're going to see it kind of had struggled with the evenness of how much dye it's putting on the paper. But towards the bottom, it actually did a really good job of making it nice and crispy. I freeze frame it here to give you guys some point out some spots where it missed, it was light, or it got really dark, and that's just because of how busy it is and how even that print head, how hard that print head has to work. The more it's going across the print head itself. I hope that makes sense. Alright gang, so we're going to throw some dot shading at this thing and see how it handles it. Now I do start in really light density mode just because I don't want it to jam up. Alright, up here I am pointing out that the photo size is actually working this time. So it could have been an error on my part the first time or not, but it is actually working this time. And I'm pretty sure that's counting the whole image that was thrown in there as well. Not the flower itself, but the whole A4 size of paper. So I'm not printing in any specific size. I'm trying to make it big enough to where it has a chance to catch all those dots. We're gonna really test the DPI here. Now it does have these two different print modes. I'm going to test that out later, and I do believe I figured out the reason for this print mode, and we're going to see here. But I'm just going to print it on the normal photo mode and try to get this image here printed as best as possible. Now we are going on light density here just because I don't want this thing to jam up, so we're going to keep it light, try to see if we can get those dots through this rose as best as possible. Alright you guys, big reveal. As you can see, it did not do very good. It started to do okay at the bottom, and I'm sure you can pull most of that back with tape, but I'm pretty sure this thing is not meant for heavy shading, but it does give you an option here if you use those letter modes. If you do need and have to print your shading like this, this feature is actually pretty great at printing those options. Now this is the best print out of all of these using this other mode, and I don't know what it's called. It just has two A's on it. So, and it's kind of like a reverse negative image, and it actually does pretty dang great here. And I did do it on 3, the darkest mode possible, and you're going to see how well it actually does right here. So yeah, I gave you guys a little sound bite there, that way you guys can listen to it and see it in real speed. But yeah, it actually did pretty dang good on that mode, and this is the darkest density with their paper. So your mileage may vary with Spirit paper. You're going to see some like chunky spots here, but I do think it actually did pretty good for picking up all those dots individually. And most of these spots I'm going to point out here you can clean up with tape and you'd be just fine. But if you absolutely have to use your print your shading, that mode there is actually a great way to do it. It's actually really crispy in my opinion, especially for an $80 printer. Alright you guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Don't forget coupon code down in the description along with a link if you're interested. If you have any questions, let me know. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for another one, and I will see you soon. Peace.